Happen in Ashland, but it does have a local slant this week and over the next couple weeks for a couple reasons. One, we have a local group that is joining kind of a national movement that is questioning a lot about the 9/11 official explanation and is calling for an official and independent investigation of these events. It becomes relevant this week as SOU deals with a speaker coming to talk on the topic. The question is, as public confidence falls, more people are growing bold in asking for a further evaluation. Now, while that's the case, a lot of people are still thinking this is just too sensitive an issue for us for people to use as a political football and to dive back in. So the question is, why now? Why 6 years later, and what can be done about it?
I think the momentum has grown. And if you look at what happened last week in the Republican debate, you had Ron Paul from Texas toss it out there in front of everyone, and he said, finally, that we've been bombing Iraq for 10 years prior to 9/11. And he just put it out on the table. How can we continue to have such aggressive policies to folks overseas and not think that in some way, shape, or form there's going to be some retribution? Giuliani then called his notion absurd, said he never heard of it before. And I say that disqualifies Giuliani as a candidate for president, since he doesn't know that we've been bombing Iraq for 10 years. How can this guy be president if he doesn't know the history of this? He'd never heard of it.
That's what he said.
That's
never
what he
heard
said.
of it.
That's
great.
But
Did you send him a copy of her book?
I wish I would. Senator Ron Wyden.
Yeah, this is where it really starts to come closer to home, is that Wyden is now basically asking for the CIA to release their information and kind of basically unleash those documents. So now we have official members of Congress for the first time. Now, we heard Mike say, when we've dealt with this topic over the last couple 6 or 8 months, where is Congress? 535 members of Congress, not a single one has asked for it. That's no longer true, and momentum's building.
I'm proud to work for a paper that is willing to write stories about this and ask these questions today. I wish that we'd been doing it 2, 3, 4 years ago.
Yeah, I really
Even though
agree.
we're a small paper, just...
Mike can't say the media's not doing anything anymore. At least we're trying.
That's true.
But you know what? Here's the point of I want to be really, really clear. Our position is not that we're convinced that there's been all this nefarious conspiracy. There's a lot of people that believe that. Our position is the explanations of an event of this magnitude, the explanations are far lacking.
Yes,
and there needs to be a greater attention.
There are too many anomalies, and there's too much cover-up, and there's certainly a lot of stonewalling. Even Ron Wyden said that this administration, he can't believe the extent to which they've gone to stonewall. And he said, and I really love this about the guy, he said he's going to bulldog this issue, and he should, because our government is supposed to answer to us.
Well, and it shows that Wyden has obviously been hearing it from enough people besides just Ashland.
And better late than never, I guess.
Better late than never, and that they're coming forward. My fear in all of this is that what we're gonna end up with is another one of these, Kennedy, the things are sealed until 2098, that one of those kinds of things. And, I'd really hope that we certainly have seen how that has colored American trust and confidence in the government over the last 40 years. That has just been an ongoing problem that will never go away, and this is becoming that. And so the opportunity to try to dig some of it out, I still, maybe I'm in a minority in Ashland, but I still believe that while there probably are things that people don't want us to know about those events, I do believe that the narrative that we mostly know will be proven true.
Yeah,
and I think people are owed that.
Yeah, giving people the information that they're interested in a timely manner will build democracy, will build people's interest in participating as a whole.
And I like the Wyden step as well, and I think he deserves our approval and plaudits in that he's going after the CIA. And if there's anybody that really, if there was anybody training Muhammad Atta besides, Osama bin Laden, it was probably the CIA. I think that's a good place to start. I don't know.
Well, I hope he's successful. He's joined with Jay Rockefeller and Kit Bond. And I think there's 97 other members of the Senate that ought to be on board, including our own Gordon Smith. I think that Walden ought to start in the House and get the momentum rolling, because these
It's
are the
never gonna
representatives of the people, and
Well,
they should
it's never
be.
going to happen.
But on another note, I disagree with your assessment of how it's all going to fall out. I believe that the reason why they've stonewalled for so many years, the reason why they've had such a massive cover-up for all of this, all of this time, is because there is our government is complicit in this in some way, shape, or form. I believe that we're going to find out some really rotten things about our government. In fact, February 1st, the Senate Foreign Relations Committee had testimonies from the former national security advisors, including Henry Kissinger and Zbigniew Brzezinski, who worked for Jimmy Carter. And Brzezinski himself says that in the ramp up to go to war with Iran, he believes that we're going to blame all the failed benchmarks on Iran, and there's going to be what he called a plausible scenario would be a staged terrorist attack either in Iraq or on American soil by our own government in order to garner support to go to Iran. Now, if this is the former National Security Advisor saying this to the Senate Foreign Relations Committee headed by Joseph Biden, I think he's one of the presidential candidates, and Richard Lugar, and he's saying that he believes our government is capable of killing Americans in order to advance some clandestine goal, why shouldn't we believe it?
Well, let's come back when that staged attack happens, and we'll
roll that tape.
We'll roll a tape.
That already happened, 9/11.
Well, it could happen again. There's no doubt about it. It's safe to say I think it's an important issue for democracy, and if local towns and communities and cities all across the country don't do it, it'll never happen. So that's where we stand. All right. Okay.